Welcome to Auto Mundial, the weekly car news and review show, where this time we're taking a look at the latest electric SUVs from Chevrolet and Kia.
We also have the updated Alpine A110 and Audi's new limited edition RS4.
Plus VW's new T-Cross. Before that though, the news. Jeep has confirmed that a petrol version of the Avenger will be heading to the UK. The stylish little crossover was originally launched as an EV, with the American brand stating it would remain electric only in most European markets. Now though, the Stellantis company has made a U-turn. Italy was always destined to get an ICE version due to the country's slow uptake of EVs, but Jeep UK have said strong interest in a petrol version means a right-hand drive version will arrive here in the near future. The announcement comes as private sales figures for EVs have begun to slump in Britain. Petrol vehicles still dominate the sales charts, followed by petrol hybrids. Fleet buyers are still the driving force behind electric car registrations, thanks to substantial benefit-in-kind tax breaks that EVs afford.
VW is currently busy revamping its lineup of SUVs. We've seen the new Touareg and the revised T-Roc, and a new Tiguan will be with us very soon. For now though, the latest model to receive an update is this, the smallest in the range, the T-Cross. Essentially a jacked-up Polo, the T-Cross has been on sale since 2019, so it's about time it got a midlife refresh. Destined to arrive on dealer forecourts late this year, the new T-Cross boasts some updated styling and new standard equipment to help it stand out in this particularly crowded segment. The eagle-eyed among you will have already spotted the restyled front end with a new bumper, grille and LED headlights. Meanwhile at the back there's a new crosshatch bumper design and more modern lights. On top of these typical midlife alterations, there's also a new selection of colours to choose from, including this eye-catching grape yellow. Changes have also been made in the cabin, where you find a redesigned dashboard that Volkswagen says is made from higher quality soft touch plastic and a new 8-inch touchscreen infotainment system. Higher spec models like this one though get a bigger 9.2-inch unit with optional backlit sliders for climate control. Standard equipment includes a multifunction parking camera, road sign recognition and LED headlights. Step up to the higher trim levels and you gain 16-inch alloys, a leather steering wheel and some sportier styling details. Under the bonnet, the T-Cross retains the same 1-litre TSI engine available with 94 or 109 brake horsepower, with a 1.5-litre option developing a healthy 148 horsepower.
As we mentioned though, this class is getting crowded, and the T-Cross isn't the only contender to get a recent update. This is the Citroën C3 Aircross, but not as you might know it. The original car looked cute and cuddly like a jelly bean on wheels. The new one though looks rather angry, which Citroën says gives it a more assertive personality. Well, that's as may be, but it is certainly striking. Design inspiration has clearly been taken from the new C4, but we're not quite sold on such a menacing face on a cute little high-riding hatchback. The two layers of front lights remain, though now much more angular, while the deeper front grille makes it look bigger and taller than before. The rest of the car's styling remains largely unchanged, but there's a host of vibrant new colour options available with a total of 70 different body and roof combinations to choose from. Changes to the interior are minimal, with some new trim options and improved infotainment. But driver assistance has been improved. The Aircross now comes with enough kit to rival the VW with automatic emergency braking, speed sign recognition and headlights that can dip automatically. Despite its off-road credentials, however, the C3 is strictly two-wheel drive, with engine options in the UK limited to a 3-cylinder 1.2 petrol engine with either 108 or 128 brake horsepower, and a pair of diesel options with 108 and 118 bhp respectively. On the road, the Citroën is pleasingly tactile with a satisfying manual gearbox and a willing selection of engines, particularly the petrol 3-pot, which thrums away with a sense of urgency. It's not the quietest car on the road, but it is comfortable with excellent ride quality, something Citroën has long been famous for.
But while the C3 is still our class favourite, there's so much variety in this class that there's something for everyone. It might just be high-riding super minis, but the increased suspension travel generally means they're comfier around town and still just as easy to park. The new T-Cross will go on sale towards the end of the year, with the first customer deliveries expected in early 2024.
Along with Tesla and various EV startups, it seems to be Chevrolet that's leading the charge for electric cars in America. We've already seen numerous electric and electrified models, but now there's a new one, the Blazer. When the Blazer was first relaunched in 2019, many fans of the original were left disappointed that it wasn't a big off-road ready 4x4. But the Blazer has been a success for Chevy anyway, so an electric version in the lineup could prove popular. More than just an electric version of an existing car though, the Blazer EV gets a look all of its own. Designed to take on the Mustang Mach-E and Tesla Model Y, it's a mid-size crossover that looks undeniably American with its Camaro-like shapes and light-up bow tie badge. It's a brilliant looking thing, and the interior is just as cool. Living up to the muscle car theme of the exterior, the cabin feels racy with low-sitting sport seats and Mercedes-style circular air vents. The dashboard is dominated by a 17.7-inch infotainment screen tilted slightly towards the driver. A second screen, 11 inches this time, displays your gauges and other driving information. As we've come to expect from modern family cars, there's a load of autonomous safety tech built in, as well as a so-called Super Cruise hands-free driving system that allows you to travel on freeways without having to make any steering or throttle inputs. There are 4 different trim levels on offer, starting with the 1LT and 2LT. These both come in at well under $50,000, but it's the 52 grand RT model that seems to offer the best value, with loads of extra kit and some sporty 21-inch alloys. The headline car though is the top spec SS. Borrowing a badge from some of Chevy's most famous muscle cars, the SS is a true powerhouse. 557 bhp powers all 4 wheels, propelling the SUV from 0 to 62 in under 4 seconds. Think of it then as a quieter, more practical Camaro. If range is your biggest concern rather than straight line speed, once again it's the RT that you'll want. It'll manage 320 miles on a charge, ahead of the SS on 290, 2LT with 293, and the base model 1LT with 247 miles.
However, the Blazer is not without its rivals. Enter the Kia EV6. Unlike the Korean brand's other electric cars, this was designed from the ground up to be electric only. And immediately it seems that the electric platform that it shares with the Hyundai Ioniq 5 has enabled Kia to really go to town with the styling. We're not convinced that this is a pretty car, but it's certainly striking, with lots of interesting angles and creases that really do turn heads as you quietly glide through town. Stray out of the confines of the city though, and the EV6 can really push you to the back of your seat, Top-of-the-range cars get 321 bhp with drive set to all four wheels. 0 to 62 miles per hour is dealt with in just 5.2 seconds, which ought to be enough to worry even the hottest of hatchbacks. If outright pace isn't such a priority, there is a cheaper rear-wheel drive version. It gains a couple of seconds in the 0 to 60 sprint, but its 114 mile per hour top speed remains the same. All models can be charged from 10 to 80% in 18 minutes with a 350 kilowatt fast charger, which should take some of the stress out of longer journeys. On the road, the EV6 can really get a move on. The instant torque means even the basic car is good fun to drive, especially when you stick it in sport mode. Inside, the EV6 is a world away from Kias of old. If you haven't been in a Kia built in the past 5 years or so, you are in for a bit of a shock. The cabin looks fantastic and feels built to last. The touch-sensitive buttons can be a bit fiddly, especially when you're driving, but it's otherwise a fantastic place to be. The infotainment system feels futuristic, as does the customisable gauge cluster behind the two-spoke steering wheel.
For us though, it's the Chevy that gets our vote. It looks great, the SS is fast, and the RT will match the Kia's range. Sadly, it won't be coming to the UK, and the Blazer EV is another example of the great GM electric cars we're missing out on. After the break, a special edition Audi and the new Alpine A110.
Coming up, Alpine's refreshed A110. First though,
as we well know, Audi has long had a love affair with the fast estate. Since the first version in the 90s, there have been numerous fast load luggers, both big and small, with the RS6 and RS4 respectively. But while these were always available as saloon cars as well, they're both now estate only. And that is absolutely fine by us. To our eye, the Avant model, as they're known, have always looked better than the saloons, and the extra practicality is a welcome bonus. After all, luggage space is almost as important as your 0 to 60 time. The current RS4 car looks angrier than ever, with sharp headlights, an angular bumper design, and 3 fake vents above the grille, in line with the A1 and R8, and inspired by the original UR Quattro of the 1980s. The arches have swelled, making it 30mm wider than a regular A4, meaning you really won't be mistaking it for the 2-litre diesel. Inside, it gets the lashings of carbon fibre and Alcantara, as well as the usual A4 luxuries. The build quality is second to none, and all the controls are easy to use and reach. The huge virtual cockpit display behind the steering wheel also gets an upgrade over the standard A4, with new RS-specific features displaying important stats like tyre pressure, G-forces, lap times and temperatures.
New for 2023 are the limited run competition and competition plus packs. As well as some visual upgrades like more carbon fibre trim, these packs are mostly focused on the chassis. The regular competition pack gains some Pirelli Corsa P0 tyres, while the competition plus adds some sophisticated adjustable suspension that can lower the car by up to 20mm. Ceramic brakes are included, as is a retuned ABS system for improved stopping ability. Both versions also benefit from a new sports exhaust and less sound deadening, allowing you to really enjoy the sound. Under the bonnet, the engine remains untouched, the 444 bhp figure remaining the same as the standard RS4. Despite this, the 0 to 62 mph time had dropped to 3.9 seconds from 4.1 thanks to its increased grip and a slight reduction in weight.
The RS4 Competition Plus then is surely the ultimate all-weather daily driver. However, with the new BMW M3 Touring now on sale, the Avant certainly does not have the market to itself.
The Alpine A110 is one of our favourite sports cars. Its emphasis on lightweight, balance and agility make it one of the very best in its class. Now though, Alpine has been fettling it, adding some new models to the lineup. The regular facelifted A110 is joined by the GT and the S. With more options suiting different drivers, Alpine is hoping they'll steal some of the spotlight away from the Porsche Cayman and the new Lotus Emira. In standard trim, the A110 produces 249 brake horsepower, while the two new versions are boosted up to 296 from the same 1.8-litre turbocharged Renault engine. In today's world of 700 horsepower saloons and supercar baiting hatchbacks that might not sound like a lot, but coupled with the A110's featherweight, it powers the retro French coupe from 0 to 62 mph in just 4.2 seconds. The top speed is impressive too, 171 mph, if you remove the limiter. Starting with the GT model, little is changed on the styling front. It retains the Alpine's gorgeous proportions and 60s styling details, inspired by the original A110 that went on to cement the brand as a rallying icon. The GT, as its name suggests, is designed to be a more luxurious touring model for those looking to enjoy long drives in the A110. On top of the standard car's new revisions, including a vastly improved infotainment system, the GT comes with some bespoke leather seats designed with comfort in mind. Parking sensors and a rear view camera are added, as well as a premium focal audio system.
The S model is easier to distinguish. Seen here in lurid fire orange, the S is engineered primarily to improve the car's on-track ability. The chassis has been extensively gone through with lower, stiffer suspension, revised steering geometry, upgraded anti-roll bars and bigger Brembo brakes. It also gets a fruitier sports exhaust system and 18-inch alloys. Also available is an optional aero pack. This adds a carbon fibre front splitter and a matching rear wing, increasing downforce to keep you planted on track. To increase grip even further, A110S buyers can spec their car with semi-slick Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2 tyres. Other options include a set of SAR belt bucket seats and a microfiber pack, which coats various bits of the interior in a sporty Alcantara-like material. Both the S and the GT are also available with a carbon fibre roof. A £2,000 option, the carbon roof not only looks the part, but saves a whopping 1.9 kilos. Money well spent right there. However, at a smidge over 60 grand, the A110S is £10,000 more than the standard car, and that is before you start adding the carbon bits. It's also BMW M2 money, and while the German rival can't boast a mid-engine layout or such a modest number on the scales, the new M2 is a practical coupe with a glorious straight six. And then there is the inimitable Porsche Cayman. 60 grand buys you a Cayman S, the highest spec for the four-cylinder model. Again though, it is a fair bit heavier than the diminutive Alpine, and even with 345 bhp on tap, it will struggle to keep up in a 0 to 62 sprint.
The Alpine A110 then remains at the top of its game. The GT and the S models further broaden its appeal, confirming it as the connoisseur's choice.
Join us again next week on Auto Mundial as we take a look at the fastest road-going Ferrari ever, the wild SF90 Stradale. Don't miss it.